I'm Victoria Whitehead.
And Matthew Armstrong, and this is another update on our pregnancy that we're going through. It's tough. But how's it going, Tori?
Yeah, I'm feeling really well, and Matthew's making me lots of juices and hot water with lemon, and it's really appreciated right now because it's very cold here in Spain.
This is my top tip for staying hydrated in the winter, because most people think about hydration in the summer, but in the winter more people get dehydrated in the winter because instead of taking in water and salads and things like that, water-based sort of foods that's going to hydrate them, they're taking in more like teas and coffees, which are quite often dehydrating them, and also taking in more cooked food and that sort of thing, which is also dehydrating them. So my top tip, because no one wants to drink a glass of cold water on a cold day, they don't want to go for a tea or something, so my top tip is boil the kettle up in the morning, fill it up this far with cold water, squeeze a quarter of a lemon in, then fill up the rest of hot water, and that's how I start my day. That's how we start our day, and we do maybe about 5 pints of those every single day, and that keeps us hydrated throughout the winter, and it's just really nice.
It is, it's lovely. It makes so much difference.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, I wanted to say thank you to everybody who contacted us after our last video. We got loads of emails and different people contacting us to share how their birthing experience was, whether they had a hospital birth or they'd planned to have a home birth and things didn't go as expected. So it was really nice to be able to learn about different people's experience and get a different perspective on things.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so we've been basically just continuing to learn about different options that we have available, and
doing lots of reading, watching lots of documentaries and things, learning loads.
Yeah, and last night we had the great opportunity. We interviewed Laurie Shanley, and if you've never heard of Laurie Shanley, she is she's an author and a mother. She had 4 children and she birthed them all at home unassisted. That was without the help of a midwife or a doctor. And she's written a book called Unassisted Childbirth, and she's actually got a new edition just coming out at the end of this month, so it was really great to be able to interview her, and we asked her loads of questions.
Amazing woman, really amazing woman. Yeah.
Loads of questions about childbirth and about some of the things that were coming up for us, and also that other people had asked us about that maybe we didn't know. Mm-hmm. So that was good. Did you want to share some of that?
Well, it all really came down to is realizing that we have the power within us to do amazing things. Like Laura Shanley was talking about her husband at the time when they had their first baby, that he was reading all about the unconscious mind and the human potential and everything, and what we're capable of doing with our bodies, and he decided that he was going to lactate. So he just with auto-suggestion, just basically saying that he was going to have milk in his breast, and he's going to lactate, and after a week of doing that, he actually was able to do it. And I thought that was just an amazing testimony of people think that we're kind of programmed with women can't have babies by themselves. They need all this medical intervention, and they need midwives and doctors and modern technology to do it. And while in maybe 2 or less % of cases that might be possible, and that people's lives can be saved in a very small minority, maybe 2% or less of people. Sure, the baby's lives are saved, women's lives are saved through that, but in the majority of cases, the vast majority of cases, having an unassisted birth is very possible, right? It's not even very possible. It's just this completely makes sense. It's the natural thing of our bodies are just designed. Well, women's bodies are designed to do it, and so yeah.
I think a lot of what I got from a lot of the responses that we received after the last video, that a lot of people choose to go to hospital out of fear that something might go wrong, and it's this fear that if something goes wrong, I'm responsible for that. And whereas if I go to hospital, if I have a midwife with me or a doctor, they're in control, so it's up to them to make sure everything goes all right. And the problem with that is that when you have a midwife that's with a woman these days, the midwife's looking after the woman, the baby comes out breech, and the midwife, she's so afraid that she's responsible if something goes wrong, that she'll get the mother rushed into hospital to have a C-section, when in actual fact, if the mother was left to her own devices and she was really allowed to relax, which is the most important thing during a woman's pregnancy, is that she's allowed to relax as much as possible, then that baby would probably just come out naturally and healthily. So it's all fear. It's fear. There's so many problems and C-sections happening
the
because
suing
of
culture as well.
And the suing culture as well. So midwives, I mean, in America, I think Laurie Shanley said midwives can go to jail from problems if they don't follow the strict criteria that they're supposed to follow when they attend a woman in labour. And with the doctor, he's afraid of being sued. And if he says, look, I gave a C-section, he's done everything he can to do the best he can for that woman to save her and her baby.
So both the doctors and the midwives are in fear as well, especially in the US with the suing culture that's there, that if they don't follow these guidelines, they're going to be sued, and so they have specific guidelines to follow, and things like birthing the placenta. If the placenta isn't birthed within an hour, as soon as that hour hits, rush to hospital if you're having a home birth with a midwife. But what Laura Shanley was saying to me last night was, or saying to us was, you know, she knew a couple in Spain here actually, and they had a unassisted home birth, and the placenta was birthed I think 3 or 4 days later. She said, no problem whatsoever. You know, so the thing is, your body knows what to do. That's the thing. Your body knows what to do when you get out of the way and let it do it. And that's the message that I got from Laura last night, and just having that belief and that realization about how amazing our human bodies are, and you know, we weren't designed to not be able to do these things without modern technology and doctors and things, and yeah. So
a lot of according to the books I've been reading, even with Ina May Gaskin's book Spiritual Midwifery, a lot of the times when complications do occur, it seems to me to be from outside interference. So say for example a woman, when the most important thing to happen when she's having a baby is that she's really, really relaxed. And for most women, being poked at and prodded and having some strange people sticking their hand up into your parts isn't helping that woman to relax. In fact, in most cases it causes the fight-flight.
It's a type of molestation.
It's a type of molestation, and it causes the fight-flight mechanism where basically your body closes up because it gets ready to run away. So your body's preparing itself, and it's not then relaxed to have a baby and being checked. Like when you're in a hospital, they check you every so often to see how dilated you are. But in the actual act of checking a woman to see how dilated she is can actually cause the woman to slow down her labour, and it's then the increased amount of time that's caused by the labour, and also because she's uncomfortable being checked all the time, that can cause her to tense more, which causes pain, which ends up then in her needing pain medication and epidurals, and it all leads onto each other. So for us, and for I know how I would feel, I feel much more comfortable and also much safer, and that I feel it's the safest option for my child and for me, for my birthing, is to do it at home without assistance.
Unassisted, so no midwife either.
But in saying that, I also have a very, very strong partner, and I'm very, very lucky that I've got Matthew, and I know that in an emergency situation, if something did arise, I know that he would get me to the hospital and I would be okay. And it is always good to have a backup plan, and I know with Laura, we asked her last night, was there any cases where she would recommend that a woman didn't have a home birth unassisted, and she said she would never tell a woman to do it, and she would never tell a woman not to do it, because each woman needs to individually kind of look within and know what's the best situation for her and her body and how you feel, because a lot of it comes down to what's going on in your own mind, and because we create our reality.
Yeah.
So if you're really afraid, that fear can go through into, we can manifest problems because of the fear that we have. So yeah, so one of the things was we wanted to let people know that it's not something that we're just taking on lightly, and we're not doing this flippantly. We really are because somebody said, "Oh, Victoria, it's it's nice for you to have a comfortable baby and your modesty in your home, but how's that going to help your baby?" But actually, the reason that we're choosing that option is because we believe it will help have a safer birth. And I hope that we explained it better this time.
It's for us, we see it as the safest option to do is unassisted, and even for myself, I'll be there, but it's really it's Victoria that's doing it, and yeah, I think that's the safest option, and like we have been reading loads of books, and
I finished
speaking to people who are experts on this, who have done it, and watching various documentaries and things. So we are. That's the thing that I want to say. It's about taking responsibility. And the sun's kind of going here, so I'm in the shade. It's about taking responsibility, and what I've been teaching throughout the years is take responsibility for your own health. And taking responsibility for your own health is not going to the doctor and saying, "Okay, I feel like this," and the doctor says, "Okay, I prescribe you this." I know people that they come back from the doctor and I say, "Well, what was wrong?" "Oh, I don't know, but he gave me this." I said, "Well, what was the diagnosis?" "Oh, I don't know." But they just blindly follow what they've been told, and that's not taking responsibility. That's passing over your own power to the doctor, passing over responsibility. So then you don't, because people fear taking responsibility because they don't want to blame themselves or whatever. But forget about that. So this is no different. Instead of just saying, "Okay, well that's the way this paradigm is of you're pregnant, you go to the doctors, and then the doctor says you need to do this, you get these scans, then you go in, and then the doctors and the midwives deliver your baby, and then you get given your clean baby, and you take it home, and that's it." We go, "Okay, well let's look more into this. Let's take responsibility for this ourselves, and read up on it ourselves." And that's what I see as being the most sensible thing to do, right?
Yeah. And one thing I completely understand now why Angela Stokes-Monarch and Matt Monarch decided to leave it until after they had their baby to tell people about what they were doing and why they were doing it, because we really received quite a lot of we received a lot of people who were very supportive, and we also received a lot of negative comments, even to the extent that someone told me I should watch my baby die in the comfort of my own home. And the thing is, we really don't need that. If you have any questions for us, we're open to sharing with you, and obviously if you have a different point of view, we're open to hearing it. But we do like positivity and support, and we're at the minute, because I need that good energy around me, I am very trigger happy on the blocking on Facebook and YouTube. So yeah, so feel free to leave us comments and questions, and feel free to give us positive criticism, but be constructive rather than just nasty. Yeah. Oh yeah, so books I'm reading at the minute are The Power of Pleasurable Childbirth by Laurie A. Morgan, and Childbirth Without Fear by Grantley Dick Reed. This one's been recommended by lots of books, so yeah, this is
an old classic.
I'm really looking forward to this one, and I finished the Gaskin one, and I really enjoyed it. And what I got from Spiritual Midwifery was that she basically believes that whatever energy was used to put the baby in is the same energy that will bring it out. And so as a midwife, what she often does is she leaves the husband and the wife together, and she gets them to kiss and to hug each other and to be loving, and what that does is creates those same hormones that then allow the oxytocin, which allows the mother to open up and relax. So yeah, we
got loads to share, but we'll leave it for another video.
We'll leave that for another video.
Yeah, there's really loads. We learned so much lately, really.
So any questions, post them below. We will be posting clips from the Laura Shanley interview, and if you want to see the whole video interview from Laura Shanley, it's available on our website at standinghealthnow.com.
Okay.
I'm Victoria Whitehead.
I'm Matthew Armstrong. Tune in next time.